Hello everyone! So the Feral Druid talents are finally here. We have them live on the beta. You can also test them out on PTR, so you don't even need a beta invite. You can play the pre-patch on PTR if you want to go check out some stuff yourself. Of course, you will be level 60, not 70, so you're going to be lacking a couple talent points. But here I am. I got to play it out today. I started stream really nice and early, so I ended up a little bit earlier today because I'm wiped as a result. But we got to play around with some of the talents. Got to play around with some of the builds. Came here in Borealis to try and get on a target dummy and ran into a couple of the ferals, just like, you know, happened to run into them, which was kind of funny. And they were testing some stuff out and we were talking about things, what feels good, what feels bad, what talents won't really work well together and stuff. And I just wanted to make a quick little video on my initial impressions, what I'm liking about it, what I'm disliking, and the kind of the fluidity, because this is the most important thing, is that everything actually feels good. Right now, number tuning, I wouldn't really be too concerned with it. I wouldn't stress about it because number tuning hasn't been done yet. Starting off then with some of the talents that have been shifted and altered since we, saw them a couple days ago and how they've actually been implemented. So you have Pouncing Strikes. We can actually just see the full effect of this now, the full wording. So it's going to be that 60% damage and going to just give you the stealth effect of Rake, basically. You then have Tireless Energy is going to be 30 and 60 energy, and then 2 and 4% haste, really quite powerful. You then have, I think everything else is pretty the same, but you have Taste of Blood is being buffed from 1.5% per point to 2% per point, which is good. A buff to Taste for Blood. Ferocious Frenzy is being reduced down to 5 targets. The damage starts to be reduced if you go beyond 5 targets rather than 8 targets that it was previously. So a little bit of a nerf to Ferocious Frenzy. You then have Infected Wounds, which the rate damage is being increased. Rate damage increased by 30. We are, of course, assuming that's going to be 30%, which would be a buff up from 10%. You also have Raging Fury. Finishing moves extended the duration of Tiger's Fury by 0.4 seconds per combo point, not 0.2. So you're now getting a 2-second increase, not a 1-second increase on Tiger Fury, which is really quite good as well. I think everything else is the same, except... yeah, I'm pretty sure everything's pretty much the same. Ashamane's Guidance, currently on the beta, is proccing your Incon, even if you have Convoke, but that's clearly not going to be the case, and this isn't currently 1-minute Convoke. Also, lastly, you have Bite Force, which has been increased from 10% to 15%, which brings it closer in line to Blood Talons. Before it was 1/3 of the damage of Blood Talons, now it's 1/2. I ended up today playing around in quite a few different dungeons and doing some questing and stuff like that, and I was playing with a predominantly AoE-based build. It was trying to focus on Primal Wrath spreading, trying to get bites as well being weaved in with Apex, and then your Rake with the Double Claw Rake, trying to spread as many of those as possible. Trying to, in AoE, making sure that I'm spreading Rakes here and there and stuff, especially as the tank is trying to group things up. It actually felt really, really good. I'll be honest, Double Clawed Rake is my favorite talent in the whole tree of everything right now. And, just generally speaking, I was very happy with this build. It has some single target, capabilities and some, good cleave abilities, as well as having things like just mass AoE and cleave AoE and stuff with the Ferocious Bite spread and Primal Wrath spread. And it was quite nice. It was really quite enjoyable. I'd go into combat and my Rake now with the Double Clawed Rake, it would actually stun 2 mobs, which is really quite cool. The only issue with it is that it's not very intuitive, so it will apply Rake to the 2 closest mobs to you. It won't try and prioritize mobs that don't already have Rake, which is really quite awkward. But you kind of get a little bit used to it, but it definitely needs to be changed so that it will always kind of be intuitive there. But it's really nice as well playing this Double Clawed Rake because Convoke is spreading Rake onto multiple mobs. So every Rake in this 16 spell Convoke is actually counting as 2 Rakes, which is really good. And then, of course, as well, the Ferocious Bites during Convoke are also doing AoE damage to mobs, big damage to 5 targets and then reduced beyond that. I think that ability probably could do with a little bit of damage tweaking, could probably be tuned up a little bit. But generally, the way the rotation was going is I was going into combat, I was Primal Wrathing, maybe getting a couple Rakes off as well, depending on as things are grouping up. But Primal Wrathing, and then I'd try and prioritize a Bite, then I would try and prioritize a Primal Wrath, then a Bite again, and so on and so forth. But the the big thing was after I would Apex bite, whenever I would get an Apex proc, I would always want to Primal Wrath immediately after I bit, because you're going to get the super powered Sabertooth Primal Wrath with the open wound. And here's actually a quick glance at that build, roughly. I know I was playing around with things quite a bit today. Not quite level 70 yet, so still don't have, like, Circle with the build, and I would want to try and get the big bite with the Blood Talons. I can't remember the name of it now, but at the bottom left of the tree, I'd want to try and get that, not Blood Talons. I'm finding Eye of Fearful Symmetry is really quite like, weird to use in this rotation, and generally I think that probably is just something that maybe needs to be shifted. And the big reason I would want to have Eye of Fearful Symmetry shifted is because, well, it's kind of awkward to use on single target and in AoE, especially with Blood Talons and Apex procs going on. And it causes you to, like, maybe not want to play Blood Talons because of the weird, like, combo point generation that occurs. You're in states where you'll at 4 combo points on single target, and it's like, do you want to bite? Do you want to go to 5 combo points, but then you're potentially overcapping by 2? Do you want to just bite on 4? In AoE, you're like trying to generate your Blood Talons, and then you use Tiger's Fury, and then now you're going to overcap on combo points, or have to use a non-snapped Blood Talons like finisher. Of course, then when you're getting your Apex procs as well, that's then messing up with the rotation with Blood Talons generation, because you're having to weave in these bites, and then you could get unempowered Primal Wrath uses. So for me, Blood Talons is good, but playing it in AoE with like Predator and Apex and stuff, and then Eye of Fearful Symmetry, I'm not really enjoying that style of the gameplay. So that's something that I would like to see changed. Eye of Fearful Symmetry either needs to give 3 combo points, not 2, or needs to, I don't even know, I don't want to say that it like needs to be removed, but something that could definitely be different. So that's something that they should keep an eye on. But in general, like, the rotation was pretty cool. It was trying to spread rakes, make, you know, proc in Thrash to proc my Scent of Blood, making sure that I'm like swiping during my Berserk window and trying to Primal Wrath and Ferocious Bite change. And like in general, like, I'm quite enjoying this rotation right now, and I think that it'll be really good. I think it'll be effective. Something that a lot of people have brought up is that we still don't have a unique utility. I think that's basically a lot of kind of what I wanted to summarize today. I just wanted to do a reasonably quick video talking about some of this stuff and say that I really enjoyed it day one. I think we still need some work. There are definitely some things that I could see could probably be changed, but I think so far so good. And I can't wait to hopefully see some changes being made to the class tree, because I think that definitely needs some help. But right now, the Feral Druid tree, I think, is in a good spot. It's fun to play, seems effective, seems like it could be powerful. So in AoE and on single target. And I spoke to Snoopy as well today. He seems pretty confident as well with the PvP side, so that's good as well. But yeah, that's kind of my synopsis of day one, and we'll see how things fare as we move forward. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to come check me out on twitch.tv/Psybear_TV, and the link's in the description, and I'll link the VOD from today so you can watch through the full thing if you missed it and you want to check out some of that stuff. But thanks for watching. See you again.